Today is the third anniversary of the tsunami and the earthquake, then tsunami, then knocking out the power over at Fukushima, then the nuclear plant starting to go into meltdown. Today's the third anniversary. And so I think it's a good time for us to look back and see what have we learned in these past 3 years? What has happened over these past 3 years? What's the state of Fukushima right now? What's the state of the Pacific Ocean and the west coast of the United States right now relative to that? And what's the state of nuclear power in the United States? It's a large stack of stuff to talk about when we've only got about 8 minutes till the break. But Kevin Camps is with us. He can do that kind of stuff. BeyondNuclear.org is the website. He's the radioactive waste watchdog there. Hey, Kevin, great to have you on again.
Hi, Tom. Good to be here.
Good to see you. So you heard my list. You can start anywhere you'd like.
Well, the U.S. and Japanese nuclear establishments have learned not a darn thing in 3 years. The Abe administration in Japan wants to turn on the 48 remaining reactors in the country. 6 were done in by this disaster, the 4 destroyed reactors, and 2 more at the site that they just won't even go there because the site's so contaminated. So they retired those 2. They lost 6. They got 48 left. Abe wants to start them back up over the objections of a majority of the Japanese people. They've prioritized that over dealing with the Fukushima Daiichi site and the ongoing catastrophe there. It's a really powerful form of denial that Abe is in. But the same can be said of the United States nuclear establishment. As Senator Markey from Massachusetts pointed out yesterday, not a single safety upgrade has yet been instituted in the United States in response to the Fukushima catastrophe. We have 31 reactors in this country that are either identical or very similar, these General Electric boiling water reactors of the Mark I and II designs. So it's an incredible disconnect between reality and this la-la land that the nuclear establishment lives in.
Now, one of the things that is absolutely necessary for a nuclear reactor to run, and frankly for an oil, gas, or coal electric generating system to run, is massive amounts of cold water to cool the reactors. We're having droughts across much of the United States, and many of those droughts are hitting areas where you've got large rivers that are being used to cool nuclear power plants. Nuclear power plants are typically sited on a river or on an ocean just so they can have access to that cooling water. Are we facing any problems with regard to that?
Yes, very much so. Groups around the country like Southern Alliance for Clean Energy in the drought-stricken Southeast, Civil Society Institute, Environmental Working Group at the national level have done reports on this issue. And, to give folks an idea of how much water you're talking about there, Tom, the 2 reactors on the Chesapeake Bay here in Maryland don't have cooling towers. They use a square mile of the bay to a depth of 14 feet on a daily basis to cool those 2 reactors. It's billions of gallons of water. And as you mentioned, it's not just seawater like in the Chesapeake Bay. It's also river water. It's also the Great Lakes. So this is one of the biggest, along with coal and fossil fuel centralized thermal power, nuclear power is one of the biggest single users of water in the United States.
Wow. And it was the loss of cooling water at Fukushima because the pumps that circulated the cooling water went out because the electricity went down and the backup generators were underwater. The loss of cooling water that caused the meltdown. Do we have reactors in the United States that could face problems or at least have to shut down, stop operating as a consequence of drought?
Well, there have been instances, a few days here, a few days there, even on the Great Lakes, where the water gets too warm. Even on Long Island Sound, which is connected to the ocean, the water gets too warm, and it can't be used to efficiently run and cool a nuclear power plant. So they shut down until the temperatures go down. But something that's been revealed by whistleblowers at the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which is a very endangered species, believe you me, but, praise to them for stepping up and pointing out that there are reactors in the United States, some 3 dozen, that are downstream of major dams in this country. And so the threat of an inland tsunami, if these dams break, those reactors at 34 different sites will be underwater, as bad as Fukushima Daiichi was, no cooling. That's just one disaster scenario of cooling loss to reactors. Any loss of the electric grid combined with the diesel generators, and you are in a station blackout, you are in a Fukushima situation.
So we have 34 potential Fukushimas here in the United States, at least.
Oh, at least you've got, you've of course got seismic risks and tsunami risks at places like Diablo Canyon, California.
Right.
But ironically enough, and there is a going battle between NBC News and the Nuclear Regulatory Commission on this one. The NRC's own documents show that Indian Point near New York City is probably the most at risk of seismic damage in this country because it was so badly built. They didn't even know the fault lines were nearby back in the 1960s. They do now. NRC is swearing up and down that NBC's got it wrong, and this battle's been going on for 3 years. NBC's got it right. The NRC itself has admitted that Indian Point is a disaster waiting to happen if an earthquake strikes nearby.
What's the status of the initial spillage of radioactive material into the Pacific from Fukushima arriving at the West Coast? And what's the status of the soldiers, or the sailors rather, who were on the USS Ronald Reagan that was apparently off the coast of Fukushima at the time that that reactor was melting down and those reactors were exploding and things?
Well, it's interesting timing here on the third anniversary that the plume in the ocean is arriving at the west coast of North America. So the likes of Ken Buselier at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute have estimated that already the Gulf of Alaska coastline of Canada is seeing cesium-134 from Fukushima. It's moving south. It'll hit Seattle as early as next month, certainly by summertime, and we'll move south from there, just given the way the currents are carrying it. So we're seeing that now, 3 years later. So that's of concern.
What about bioconcentration in the food chain? Or has anybody found cesium or strontium in the meat or bones of large fish yet?
Oh, yeah. The first documented cesium contamination in seafood was in bluefin tuna that were swimming off the coast of North America, the West Coast, in August of 2011. It only took them a few months to migrate across the Pacific. So bioconcentration, we're at the top of that food chain, unfortunately. The USS Ronald Reagan story is jaw-dropping. The number of plaintiffs now, sailors from the USS Reagan suing Tokyo Electric, is around 80. Major health damage, even birth defects in children that have born since the last 3 years to those sailors. And, you know, Tokyo Electric, years late, is admitting that the levels of radioactive discharge were multiple times what they had admitted to in the past. So that same dynamic of doubling or multiplied by 5 how much strontium-90 is getting in the ocean. Wow. And we're seeing ongoing releases. Just a couple weeks ago now, another 100 tons of overflow in the storage tank depot hit the ground, got in the groundwater, and likely flowed out into the Pacific. And the levels of strontium-90, which is a bone seeker, they're just off the charts bad, highly radioactive wastewater. They're leaking on a fairly regular basis at Fukushima Daiichi.
So it's the leakage into the Pacific is ongoing and has been for 3 years. So if it's just hitting here right now, we can expect at least 3 more years of continuous increases. Does that make sense?
Every day, on a good day, 72,000 gallons of radioactive groundwater flowing into the Pacific. These leaks from the storage depot are in addition to that. So 100 tons here, 300 tons there.
Of water.
When the tempests were hitting Fukushima Daiichi, there was a lot of overflow from highly radioactive wastewater storage.
Amazing. Kevin Camps, you can read all about it at beyondnuclear.org. Kevin, thanks for the great work you do, and thanks for bringing us up to date today.
Thank you.
Always great to see you and to talk with you. It's 15 minutes past the hour.